Azam Part 372. The Muslims were willingly Indian in every conceivable manner. For so long as they ruled over parts of India, it is the subsequent slow decay of their rule, year after year, until that final forceful and violent usurpation of both power and sovereignty from the last Mughal emperor that sowed seeds of uncertainty and insecurity in their minds. After which came many events, and then finally Jinnah with his persistent advocacy of separation, resulting finally in the vivisection of 1947. With Montfort reforms, which had introduced elections, though with ownership of property as the qualifying requirement for voting rights in local bodies like municipalities, 1909 1919. An opportunity had presented itself to the Muslims. There was at last an opening offered. It was instantly seized, reservation became the starting point, and with the granting of that status, the Muslims were recognized and set apart as a distinctively different political category again. Thereafter, from reservation to special percentage, one fourth to one third, one third to minority rights, to where in majority its preservation, Punjab, Bengal, to parity, and finally to partition. And this was one continuous, ever increasing demand chance, almost an evolutionary flow sheet. Partition had to be claimed, yes, but for what? Was it for security, communal order, peace? Which of these was the impulse that most energized this call for partition? As none of these very sufficiently sustainable points for a division of India, there then arrived the thesis: Muslims are a separate nation. On first hearing this sounded so absolutely, totally illogical, wrong, and unacceptable. And yes, it acquired a beguiling resonance through the constant repetition as if some high principle was being enunciated, any refutation of which would be both unjust and a complex task when and if attempted. Besides this slogan, though ersatz was sufficiently high sounding, ultimately both the Congress and the League and the departing British tried so much, so assiduously, so continuously, so hard for so long to break India that India had finally to divide. And in the end, the physical act of partitioning became just a shabby, graceless, and indefensibly cruel give and take of numbers. You have this, I'll take this. And thus was the fractured, the great unity of this ancient land, and divide could simply not bring any peace in its wake. Its first, its first compartmentalized and then tightly sealed Hindu Muslim animosities, cementing festering grudges into near permanent hostilities. What was domestic Hindu Muslim became international India Pakistan. We made global our domestic disagreements. For Pakistan, it became the policy plank, perpetual and induced hostility towards India that became its premier state policy. It could scarcely be otherwise. Now, whatever Jaswant had said over here, it's been the principle which have been pursued by Bharatiya Janata Party. Let me read it again, and it is the pursuit of Bharatiya Janata Party. We made global our domestic disagreement, Pakistan, for Pakistan. Now, it's not for Pakistan, let me put it for Bharatiya Janata Party. It became the policy plank, perpetual and induced hostility towards us, that became its premier state policy. It could scarcely be otherwise.